Mayor T. Straight.
Present?
Mayor T. Straight.
Present?
Okay, Mr. Golden.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Golden.
Here.
Am I still audible?
Here.
Yes, you are.
Mr. Paschal?
Here.
Okay, Mr. Paschal?
Here.
Mr. Caprillion?
Here.
Mr. Johnson? Ms. Besler?
Here.
And Mr. Frederick?
Here. Here.
All are present. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Item 3, approval of minutes, October 18th, 2022 meeting. All those in favor? Move. By Chris, second by, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 4, identify potential conflicts of interest. Please be advised per city policy 3.350 that any member of the body shall declare a conflict if they have an interest, financial or otherwise, direct or indirect, or engage in a business or transaction or professional activity, or incur an obligation of any nature that is in conflict with the proper discharge of the body's official duties. Seeing none, we'll go on to number 5, citizen comment. Any citizen comments? Okay, these minutes were posted on the 14th day of December at 4:30. So I guess I can't answer that question. Bryce, can you answer that question? He's wondering, he didn't get his minutes until Saturday because of the slow mail this week. So is there a way maybe can, is that correct?
To be honest, I'm not too sure. Natalie sent it out, I think on Wednesday. We typically send the link through email on Wednesday, which I believe is when it was sent. So we'll try to get it out as soon as possible. And I'm sorry, I didn't hear the question. Was the microphone on?
Actually, he didn't go to the podium. He was wondering why it was not sent out till Friday and the mail came late, so he didn't get it till Saturday. But if the mail is later yet, he might get it till Monday or Tuesday. Do you have ability for email yourself, gentlemen in the audience, that we could send it? Okay. I guess the best case scenario is we'll try to get out a couple days earlier. That's about all we can do. Is that correct, Bryce?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Lois, are you talking about a member of the public or a commission member?
A member of the public that's here this evening.
Okay. I don't know if we normally send minutes directly to members of the public and we send them notices of meetings and stuff. I'm not privy to what else might be in there.
Well, that would be what it is. Yeah, the notice of the meeting. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Any other public comment? Okay, seeing none, we'll go on to item number 6, specific implementation plan amendment request by Joe Eichstead for the Veterans Parkway subdivision for proposed changes to the Veterans Parkway subdivision planned unit development, including vacating Megan Circle right-of-way and a new lot layout, presented by Bryce Hembrook.
Thank you, Mayor. So can you guys see the PowerPoint?
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, the applicant is looking to amend the specific implementation plan that was originally adopted in 2018. So in 2018, they went through this process to allow for the construction of duplexes along Shortest Drive. And then there was also a proposal for a cul-de-sac to the east of Shortest Drive. that was named Megan Circle. And there's going to be, I believe, 4 lots surrounding that proposed cul-de-sac. And now they are looking to essentially get rid of that proposal to make that into a cul-de-sac and essentially rearrange the lot lines. So as you can see on the screen, this is the location of the subdivision. It is located to the north of Veterans Parkway, to the west of Lincoln Avenue, and to the south of Spencer Street. And so Megan Circle here is, as I mentioned, to the east of the shortest drive. So currently there is no street there, but it was, designated to be available for, it looks like 5 lots. So the applicants, originally they, as they were going to prepare to start construction, they did a wetland delineation for the site and found out that the wetlands actually expanded past the point that they expanded more than what was initially discovered for the wetland delineation, and it made it difficult in order to, still construct the buildings. They were going to get a wetland permit through the DNR to construct, and I believe that they're still going through that process. But it was going to affect quite a bit of the building layouts as well as the lot layout. And so after a couple of years, they decided to just get rid of the Megan Circle cul-de-sac, rearrange the lot lines, and then have proposed this building layout. So as you can see, lots 14, 15, 16, 17, and 19 have all been proposed to, change in size. As you can see that there's proposed to be, longer, narrower lots. And then outlot 2 kind of shows where the wetland is impacted. So, looking at where the cul-de-sac was proposed originally, that was going to take up a lot of, lot 20 and 19 and potentially even 18. So essentially, let's see here. So essentially, the only request is to remove the cul-de-sac, rearrange the lot lines. They're going to have the same building plans as originally proposed. Not any, nothing else will be a part of this amendment request. Ultimately, the homes would be located further from the houses to the east than originally proposed. There were some concerns in the past of, how drainage would affect the neighbors to the east. And with these changes, it should, improve that. And then, as I mentioned, the building, how the buildings are going to look isn't proposed to change, but here's an example of what was approved already. The original building layouts they're going to be slightly smaller, I believe by only a couple feet, but that's just to accommodate the setbacks and to remain 10 feet from the other principal structures. So with that, staff reviewed this, and we are recommending approval of the the staff has recommended approval of the specific implementation plan amendment as presented with the following conditions. Number 1, minor changes to the location of each new residential structure and accessory uses may be administratively approved. And number 2, the vacation of Megan Circle shall be reviewed and approved by the Board of Public Works and Common Council.
We have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Alderman Paschal, second by Chris. Any other discussion? Will you go up to the podium? Because then Steve can hear you. Thank you. Then there's a button you need to push.
Where's the button? Okay, and this is for Bryce. When I talked to you the other day, you said that a couple of the duplexes were going to be smaller. Is that going to be like 12 and 13? Hello?
Ma'am, before going farther, could I get, this is City Administrator Steve Bard taking minutes. Can I get your full name and address for the record?
Cheryl Isaacson, 2108 North Lincoln.
Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, so, and we do have the developer available to correct me if I'm incorrect, but my notes said that due to the tighter configuration, the developer would have to go with a smaller duplex of 52 feet by 77 feet. What was previously approved was 55 feet by 104.
Is that number
so-
12?
I didn't have a specific one mentioned. Shane, do you happen to have the answer for this?
Because on the older plan, November 16th, it looks like number 12 was kind of chopped off. What is that?
Bad connection. That was in.
Yeah, we had to, so that is why, a couple. You there? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can now.
Yeah.
Yeah, rose up again.
Like your connection is unstable, Shane.
Yeah, his screen's is okay. Yeah, Shane, we cannot hear you. Your screen must be froze.
Yeah, but sorry, hopefully, Shane.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know if my video or something's not working here correctly. Yeah, so there was two, I believe there was two lots where we had to make some adjustments to the building, mainly because we couldn't disturb too much of the wetland. So we had to make some modifications so we would fall within that parameter with the DNR for the wetland disturbance. So I think there was one or two lots there that we had to adjust for the building size.
And it looks like lots 16, 17, and 19 are smaller, and that is because of the wetland impact. So I believe that would be correct.
Yes.
So then, let's see. So then duplex 12 and 13 are going to be the regular size?
Yes. And and based on, I guess, what the city, if there has to be a modification on the site, I mean, that's, it's not like it's out of our, my parameter to build if we got to build a little bit smaller building or something, I'm trying, I want to stick to 3-bedroom units, and not go smaller than that.
And those are going to be 1-stories.
Correct. And there's no basement. They're all 1-story, and then they would all have attached garages.
Okay, so then how far from the lot lines would 12 and 13 be? From the neighbor's lot line?
I guess is the general layout of the building on the I don't have that paperwork in front of me right now. I guess is there the layout on the does it show the distance from the lot line?
So on the layout that I have, that I provided, it doesn't show the side setback, but it looks like it's probably 15 feet, which is more than most side setbacks in the city. Most side setbacks are 7.5 feet or 10 feet.
So the back of the duplex to the neighbor's lot line is going to be 15 feet?
Well, lot 13 to the east would be, and I don't have a for sure number, but the other thing to remember is that lots 12 and 13 have already been approved, and those aren't really proposed to change. So the ones that, you know, are proposed to change would be 14, 15, 16, 17, and 19.
Okay.
And 14 is not proposed to go any closer to the east than what was already approved.
So then Bryce, the other day you said that there was like 180 feet from the back of number 20 to my lot line, right?
Number 20.
Or on here it would be 19, I think. Yeah, 19.
19. Yeah, it's, let me just double check. Yeah, it's around 190 to your property line.
And then you can go into 10,000 square feet into a newly designated wetland. So how many of those feet are you going to be using?
Shane, do you have happen to have that answer?
No, is Dan logged in to Zoom? I know Joe Ike said is not, but is Dan?
Yes, Shane, I'm here.
Would you have that answer, Dan?
I'm not going to have an exact footage, but the development is going to be closer to Short Crest Drive, so it's not going to be anywhere near the back of the property line on the east side. So it's going to be quite a ways away from there, but I do not have an exact distance. It looks like lot 19 will be, here, 1 second. Find this drawing. Lot 19 is only 95 feet deep. So the development should be within, 180 feet away from the back lot line for lots 17 and 19.
Yeah, and Dan, I think she was asking what the square footage of disturbed wetlands you guys are proposing.
The square footage, sorry.
Yeah.
For the whole entire project, it's under 5,000 square feet.
Okay. And then do you happen to know with the cul-de-sac, you guys were probably going to try to do 10,000 at the time?
Yeah, that's what it would have ended up taking a lot more, yeah.
Okay.
I was going to ask another question. Now I can't remember what it was. When does he plan on starting this?
So from my, there's speaking with Joe on kind of maybe where the process has to go. If everything works out, we can have all the, everything finalized and started. I'd like to start summertime. I mean, this has kind of been something that's been lingering out there for a few years now. We ran into the issue when we started kind of grubbing stuff out there this past summer, and we're right now it's basically on a standstill until the development gets approved, and I'm waiting for DNR approval to approve basically the site, runoff and everything, so I can basically commence cleaning the property up so I can commence construction. So, my last conversation with Joe, June, July, hopefully, if we can get on all the meetings and get everything approved and kind of get everything going.
So in the wetland, in back of me, there's like a berm. Who am I actually talking? Am I talking to you, Mr. Resch?
I'm listening. Yep, I can hear you. Yep.
Yeah, I can't see your face. So you know where the berm is, right?
You're on Lincoln?
I'm on Lincoln. I am
Okay.
by Outlet 2. But there's kind of a berm running there.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
it's been a while since I've been up there, so I guess,
I guess I was just,
not 100%, but
I guess I was just wondering if that was going to remain there or if, do you have to go in and clean that area up in the next 5 years?
So my understanding, is if it's not in the wetland area and, if there's stumps and brush and things like that, yes, I have, I would get that all cleaned up as long as it's not in the wetland area. It would have to, and I believe even, some of the conversations that I've had, 9 months ago or so with Marshfield, there's some zoning things where, I got to keep the property clean, I believe, so far away from the road and things like that. So some of that stuff I think will, as much as I can clean up, will get cleaned up, yes.
So you cannot go back into the wetland and cut down the stumps and stuff?
You can cut trees down and stuff, but we're not supposed to be, we cannot be pulling the stumps out and things
No,
like that.
but it was my understanding that they could be cut down to ground level.
Yeah, I guess that's, as long as I believe that the ground is not being disturbed, I think that would be a true statement. They could be cut down as low as you possibly can, I would imagine.
And then I have another question about the newly designated wetland where number 10 and 11 were supposed to go. There were a lot of stumps and stuff taken out there this summer, and they weren't supposed to be disturbed. And right now there's like a hole. And it's a breeding ground for mosquitoes in summer. Is there anything that's going to be done to that?
I guess I would have to refer that maybe back to Dan or Joe on the next meeting. That's probably a conversation, in the continuing talks. I would imagine with the DNR, if that can be maybe filled in a little bit to fill that in. I guess I don't know, Dan, if you would have. I know from my stance right now, I'm not allowed to disturb any more of that wetland.
Yeah, so Shane, I'll add in, they won't let any fill go in the wetlands based on the permits that we have right now. So anything in those wetlands, so anything that would have to happen there would just kind of be minor tracking over, level things off. If it would change the drain, like just pat it down with the bucket. There's very limited stuff you can do in there right now. But that's something we can discuss more with the DNR as we get the stormwater permit and everything.
Right,
as well, and see if we can.
Because that area is really low and they're going to have issues in the next couple of years with the mosquitoes breeding and stuff. Could you tell me how far from the lot line number 14 is going to be? These are going to be set back 25 feet from shortest. The driveways, the buildings?
The buildings will be 25 feet from the right-of-way along shortest, so not along shortest itself, but from the property line. And then, the side setbacks are proposed to remain the same as what was originally approved.
Okay, then how much lawn is going to be in the back of the buildings? Is that 7.5
I mean, it's all going to have to become a lawn.
What's that?
It would all have to become a lawn, so whatever is not buildable. I don't have the dimensions currently.
So the whole area in back of 16 and 17 is going to be lawn?
Well, generally, it's required that you have to have grass or some sort of landscaping, vegetative cover. You can't just have it as dirt.
Okay. Because in back of 17, there's kind of an arm going around for the wetland. So you're not going to be going in there then? You're just going to be improving it around that wetland? You see that arm in back of 17?
I mean, yeah, that's not something that I don't typically look at it. They would you typically not disturb it, but probably leave it as a natural cover.
Yeah, because the neighbors were wondering, this way they can tell them. You guys have any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cheryl. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Yes, Steve?
I was just going to say, this is a public hearing. I just want to make sure positively there was no one else to speak before you went down that road.
That is correct. We ask.
I do have one more question.
Oh,
Okay,
could
thank you.
Go back up. Thank you, Cheryl. We can't hear you otherwise because these folks are not in the room. Thank you, Cheryl.
I just have one more question. Is this going to be the final plan? I mean, they're not going to add anything more, are they? This is
I mean,
it.
as of right now, this is the final plan. If they were to change the plans again, we would be coming back. And so how a PUD works is if there's a substantial change, they would have to go back through a GDP, which would involve more review steps. Or if it's a relatively, minor change, it would go back as a SIP. So yes, if they do end up creating any other plans in the future, let's say 10 years from now, it would have to be reviewed by the Plan Commission again, and you would be typically notified.
And then I don't have my paper, what are those duplexes by you guys? 12 and 13? So the duplexes by 12 and 13 by the lot lines, there's always a lot of flooding there during the rain, and then they're gonna have the downspouts in the back. Is that gonna be an issue with flooding for those guys? I mean, what if in the
Shouldn't be,
future?
yeah, typically it's reviewed when a building permit would be pulled. Generally, I believe, and Dan Kinect is there if he needs to correct me, but I believe the town engineer takes a look at just drainage and make sure that there's no adverse impacts on that, but there shouldn't be an issue.
But if there are issues, would you be willing to step in and fix it?
It wouldn't be a zoning concern. It's not something that would come back to the Plan Commission. It would be a matter that the developer would have to.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm
address.
asking.
Yeah. I mean, we would work with the property owner and developer to try to address any issues if we have that ability.
Okay. All right, thank you.
See nowhere to speak? Can we get an in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 7, street vacation request by Joe Eichstead for approval of a street vacation of Megan's Circle located in the Veterans Parkway Estates subdivision. Presented, Dan Kinect, Director of Public Works.
Thank you. Since this subdivision has already been platted, the right-of-way for Megan Circle has already been dedicated to the city. And that's a separate process to essentially undedicate that and make it not right-of-way. And that process is defined by state statute. I think Bryce's presentation suggested the Board of Public Works had a role in that, but it actually starts out as an introduction to the council. The council refers it to the Plan Commission. Plan Commission makes the recommendation, goes back to the council for a public hearing, and then action. So tonight, now that you've approved the revised layout for the subdivision, it would be appropriate to approve to recommend approval of the vacation of this Megan Circle. This would go back to the council, and then a public hearing would be held at their second meeting in January, and action would be taken at that time. So the recommendation tonight is simply to recommend approval of the request to vacate Megan Circle within the Veterans Parkway Estates subdivision and refer to the Common Council for consideration.
We have a motion?
To approve.
Chris and John, any other discussion? Otherwise, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Dan. Number 8, appointment of Plan Commission member to the Historic Preservation Committee. Bryce or Steve, who would like to take this one?
I'll take this one, Mayor. sometimes these committee things get a little bit confusing when there's a representative from a particular body who because of that sits on another body. That's the case here between Plan Commission and Historic Preservation Commission. So here's kind of what happened, just for a little bit of background. In the spring of 2021, Bill Panker was appointed to take the position being vacated by Ken Wood as the Plan Commission representative who would sit on the Historic Preservation Commission. Later on, Bill was appointed to the HPC. He was already on the Historic Preservation Commission, and that wasn't caught. Then later on, Ken Bargander was appointed to the Historic Preservation Commission, the at-large position that Panker had been holding, and it came out that, in fact, Panker was there for two reasons, that he couldn't be there anymore as the at-large person from HPC, because that was Ken Bargander, and he was not reappointed to the Plan Commission in the spring of 2022. So he has been serving, I believe, to some degree on the Historic Preservation Commission, but he's not really there either as an at-large member of the public on his own or as a Plan Commission representative, having been designated by the commission to HPC. So anyway, long and short of it, from all that, we need the Plan Commission to designate its own member to the Historic Preservation Commission. If you're willing to make a motion and do that tonight, that'd be great. If you want to think about it till the next meeting to nominate, that's also possible, but we are one person short on that commission at the time being.
What's your pleasure, Commission? Whichever way you want to go. You want to discuss it and come back to the next meeting? Yes, sir.
I would be willing to be on that committee.
Okay. Kim Frederick said he'd be willing to be on the committee. Thank you, Kim. Thank you for stepping up. So
I'll nominate Kim.
beautiful. Nominate and second. No discussion. Let's just vote, everybody. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion does carry. Congratulations, Kim. Thank you for stepping up. How exciting.
I'm going to ask, it's really hard to tell from here. Who made the motion in a second?
Chris made the motion and John seconded it.
Mayor, it's really hard from here to pick up.
Chris made the motion and John seconded it. You bet.
Perfect, thank you.
You are very welcome. And it passed unanimously.
Got it.
And number 9, staff updates.
Just a couple. We are, working, as you know, with Bryce Hembrick. We've been doing a great job here from SEH to fill in our planning needs. I just brought to the Finance, Budget, and Personnel Committee earlier tonight and to the Council to extend that agreement through March 31st of 2023. We are trying to find other people to serve in the roles of City Planner and Development Services Director. I might also add, though, that there was a conversation at the Council meeting tonight in which it was agreed to set up a team, if you will, that would look at the organizational structure of the city, broadly speaking, but most specifically starting out the organizational structure of the Development Services Department to see whether the current model that we have in terms of Development Services Director, City Planner, Associate Planner, that whole configuration is still appropriate, or do we want to look at other models in an attempt to garner more candidates for the positions we need, or just to have more efficiency and effectiveness. But for right now, we continue onward. We're very thankful for Bryce's efforts. He does a great job, and we'll keep you posted. I would think by the January Plan Commission meeting, we may be able to have something to report from the first meeting, maybe even 2 meetings by that point, of the team looking at restructuring. That's really all I have at this point.
Thank you, Stephen. Thank you again, Bryce, for stepping in. We appreciate it. Number 10, items for future agendas. Anybody have any ideas? Otherwise, we are adjourned. Thank you all, and see you next.